Well, welcome part 3 of your information on running records and anecdotal notes. And in this part, we're going to just talk about anecdotal notes. We had a little peek at an anecdotal note when we talked about objectivity, but we're going to go a little bit deeper here in this discussion. So here's some examples of anecdotal records. Anecdotal records are a short and concise, but still very objective narrative of an incident that happens. And usually you'll choose that incident to write an anecdotal note on based on its developmental significance. You want to be sure that you're recording the facts when you write an anecdotal note. And you'll see here they're not only facts, but there's quotes from the children, which is really great to include because it gives you a little bit more information about their thought process and their language development as well. You can use all different types of things for an anecdotal note, although I've created a specific type of anecdotal note record keeping that I'd like you to use, and I'll show you that in a minute. So let's take a look at these. We've already actually looked at the first one, the one about Maria. And so let's skip down to the second one about Jennifer. So here you can see that we're being very specific, and that Jennifer and Micah are talking while cleaning up the block area. And I put in here what the teacher said. I said, "You're really making good progress putting the blocks away." And Jennifer quickly asked, "What's progress?" And I replied, "It's a word that means you're getting your work done." And she thought for a few minutes and said, "Oh, let's make progress, Micah." So you'll notice in this anecdotal note that I'm just writing down exactly what happened. I'm not analyzing it yet, just writing down the things that happened. So let's look at the next one for Matthew. While discussing In a Dark, Dark Room and Other Scary Stories by Alvin Schwartz, Matthew thoughtfully shared, "Do you know what kind of scary things I like best? Things that are halfway just sort of scary." I started to ask, "I wonder what," but Matthew quickly replied, "Like shadows. They're kind of scary, but kind of not." So here's a record of a discussion with a child over a book. I guess we could argue about that word thoughtfully, if that's being objective or not. Maybe you could leave that word out. But I don't think it takes away from the language that he uses and the thoughts that he expresses that we're recording here. So think about that for your anecdotal notes. Use a journalistic approach, telling who it is, what happened, when it happened, where it happened, how it happened. So think about those kind of questions when you're writing an anecdotal note. You can jot down anecdotal notes during the day, or you can kind of keep a mental note and at the end of the day jot things down. But I would recommend writing your anecdotal notes as soon as you see something happen, because it's just too easy to get busy and then forget about some of the details or exactly what a child said if you're trying to record that. So what we're going to do also this week is practice writing some anecdotal notes using the same video about shape sorting that we used for the running record. But first I want to show you the form that we're going to use for our anecdotal notes. So you'll want to put the name of the child here and the date of the anecdotal note. And these forms are all in our Blackboard site under the assignment button. So if you have a photo to include with your anecdotal note, which is really nice to have, you can insert it here. And then there's just a spot to write your anecdotal note. Now, just like we did in the running record, we're going to do a little tiny bit of analysis and just identify what areas of development might be the anecdotal note might be addressing. And that's just kind of a quick analysis that's going to help you know where to put this in your portfolio. It also helps you know, okay, so I've gotten 3 anecdotal notes in language development for Marcia. So now I know I need to collect some other anecdotal notes in the cognitive and social emotional, etc. So it just helps you kind of keep track of what you've gotten so far and what you still need to get. So for this week's discussion board, then now what I would like you to do is go back over to the Blackboard site in the folder for week 4 and watch the video about shape sorting and take 2 anecdotal notes and upload those into our discussion board. And then I want you to read each other's anecdotal notes and running records and thinking about all the guidelines that we've discussed here. I would like you to give each other some feedback on your work. All right, so remember that anecdotal notes, sorry, I'm looking for my notes. Anecdotal notes should be brief, but build a visual image of the setting. They should summarize how an incident happened, so give some background information. You should be using descriptive words to tell what was said or what was done. You should be factual, not judgmental. You should use keywords and jot down brief notes, and then you can go back and complete finish a more complete note later if you need to. Be sure to include the date and the age of the child. And really, it's important to commit as a teacher to writing 1 or 2 anecdotal notes each week for a child. And if you set that precedence in the beginning of the year, you're going to collect lots of great information throughout the year for the children that you work with. So go on back to that the shape sorting video and work on writing a couple of anecdotal notes, and I will see you in the discussion board.